Marc Raimondi for ESPN, back with you, and I am joined today with a special guest, Cat Zingano, MMA veteran, Bellator women's featherweight fighter. Cat, it's been a while. How have you been?
I've been really good. Really good. Yeah, thank you.
Of course, Cat, you have a fight coming up on April 9th against Olivia Parker on the Bellator card in Mohegan Sun. You'll be going there in a few days to be in the Bellator bubble, and I do want to ask you about that, but I know there's some other things that you want to announce and chat about. Can you please tell me about the scholarship fund that you're starting?
And I'm really excited. The last few months, I've been working really closely with bold.org because, there's massive amount of student debt in the country, and it's such a heavy thing, and it's something that I struggled with alongside some really tough things, going hand in hand. When I was really young, when I was like 20 and going to college, my mom was diagnosed with brain cancer, and when she passed away, it was just this intense, heavy grief, and everything felt like a grind. I had to, hurry up and do good at school, hurry up and feel better, hurry up and go to work, hurry up and, just always hard, and meanwhile, at the same time, I was pregnant with my son and knew I needed to finish school, and it was just a lot. And then, I remember even at the time paying my student loans, I was only paying I could only afford to pay a percentage of the interest. So that wasn't even the interest. That was basically paying for nothing. And so it was still accruing and going up every day. And I was just I just remember being broken and devastated. Fast forward, I know it's it's public, and it's a thing that, my husband passed away in 2014, and that was at a very large pinnacle of my MMA career. We were doing good. He was my coach. We had gyms going, and in 2014, he decided to take his own life, which was a huge, huge thing for me and my son, and kind of put me back in a similar devastation, where it was again, you have to keep fighting, you have to keep training, you have to keep going to work, you have to keep providing for your kid, you still have to be this pillar of strength. And I had some resources at the time for both when that happened to my husband and with my mom, but it was a grind, and for the resources that I did have and the support and the people that I did have, I'm extremely grateful. And when I hear of and see people going through something that's similar, and the fact that I know how it feels to struggle with all of that, and especially try to make the bills and try to make the classes and get good grades and still find a way to feel motivated throughout all of that, I just really wanted to pay it forward, because I do feel like I'm doing pretty good now. I mean, we still have our adjustments to make every single day, but as far as moving forward, I'm able to have some consistency with that, and I feel a duty, because I had the support I had, to want to pay it forward to people that are going through something of the same thing. So I've been talking closely with bold.org, and I started with them a $10,000 scholarship. So they're a program that is committed to helping alleviate debt in the United States. And I really knew what I wanted in this was to really help out somebody that needed it through them losing a family member or a loved one, or someone close to them that was important and integral to them, and just know it's a hard time, and really be down and have their back, and give them this $10,000 scholarship towards whatever they need for them to be able to complete their education. And, whether it's current, whether it's past debt, whether it's, future debt, I just want to see it get easier for someone, because I know I needed it at the time. And, so they helped me customize it and make this, scholarship for someone. I have these, what I need is just people to write in and kind of tell me what they're going through, and then together we're going to figure out what's best. And the more people that apply, the higher that Bold will add to the scholarship. So, we'll be able to put something together really nice for somebody, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Wow, and it's called the Cat Zingano Overcoming Loss Scholarship, right?
Yeah.
So tell us, how does someone apply? Like, what is the process to try to become a recipient of the scholarship?
So going over to bold.org, there is going to be a place where you can fill out and kind of just put into it what your experience is, what your story is, what your struggle is. Like, I'm not sure that you'll have to disclose how much debt you have, or, what your plans are, but, just that, what your tough time is and what you're going through and how this could help you. And, really just put it out there that you need the help. And you can submit that. And then once there's enough applications, we'll be able to sit down and go through it and figure out who and when we can help. And, after this one, hopefully there's more and there's more. I mean, I'm sad to hear and see that people are going through a tough time, but I am happy to be part of a solution towards feeling better. And that's, something that I think will be awesome when we're able to kind of combine and look at what everything we have is.
You obviously have a platform as a popular MMA fighter. Why is it important for you to give back? Why did you want to do this?
I mean, especially because things have been so tough. Like, I just, life is always interesting for me. It's kind of, I know I've been given the life I have because I'm meant to handle it and go through what I'm going through. And I feel inspired by people sometimes that I look at and I'm like, how do you get through that? And how are you still smiling? And, all of that. And I know that I could be of that to some people too. Like, I just want to see people better. I want to see people heal. Right now, it's such a complicated situation in the country and the world right now where, I think people are, there's a lot of mental illness. There's a lot of struggles. There's a lot of issues with money and people even being able to be social or feeling connected. And it causes a lot of anger. It causes a lot of division. And I think just reminding people that, like, we can help each other out and we can just do it for nothing other than just like, I needed a hand one time, now you need a hand and I got you. And, finding ways to do that more and more and more so we can find connected, so we can love our neighbors again, so our kids can play and we can communicate and it all be good again, and this is what I can think of to do about it, these types of things. And I'm open to whatever else there is to do about it. But, just trying to get everybody back to feeling like a community and connected. And, we don't have to be button heads with each other all the time. We can be just being helpful.
Was COVID and everything that's going on, and obviously money is hard to come by for a lot of people now with the virus still, running rampant in some places and lockdowns and so on and so forth. Was that a catalyst, or was this something that you were already kind of thinking about even before coronavirus?
When I heard what bold.org was about, like how they customize scholarships, like I thought that was really cool. Like I thought, but for forever, I've been, being praiseful and thankful of getting through a lot of these crazy things that, like, just because you guys didn't see me struggle doesn't mean I wasn't struggling, and it was tough. There was a lot of really tough times there. And like, I had to reach out and I had to get help and I had to like ask for help in ways that I wasn't always comfortable, but like fast forward all of this time and giving it the time it needed and the respect it needed. Like I'm able to be in a position where I can actually lend a hand instead of always need a hand. And so I've wanted to do that. Like I've wanted to take things from feeling like they're in vain to not in vain and be able to like turn it around into something positive, because they were terrible, terrible at the time. So I think I always knew I wanted to do something. And then when I saw what bold.org does and how they're similar in their like their program and their promise, it just was like, that's how, there's a way, and this is how I can find out what's going on and how I can offer up something good out of what I've been through. So it was really cool to see them and to communicate and work through, making this specific over the past couple months, and now it's ready and we get to go.
So like you said, bold.org would be the place to find that more information. And it's for students, right? Is it college students, high school students? Who is it exactly for?
It's for college students. It's for student debt. It's for,
Right.
working to diminish some of the debt. I think it could be occupational school as well. I think that part.
Right. You want to keep the possibilities as broad as possible, right? For someone who really needs it.
Right.
And of course, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your fighting career too, because you do have a fight coming up. I mean, how, you have the scholarship thing. Obviously, there's a fight now in just really a few days time. How are you juggling all of these things?
Just keep on keeping on like I always do. I think it's helpful. I have a teenage boy. He's in sports right now, and sports are always helpful with for a lot of reasons. They're great to wear you out and have a way to be expressive, but also give me time to go train and get ready for everything that I need to do. I'm hitting all my marks. We've managed to still make camp so successful, even though it's obviously so different than normal. This will be my second fight back in since COVID, and it's better than the first fight because the first fight, it was so many unanswered questions. It's like, how do you only train with a couple of training partners, and how do you make sure that it's in somewhere you're not going to get exposed, and how do you not expose other people if it's just being quarantined and having it be silent when you fight. Like, until I know what that feels like, I don't know what that feels like. And that unknown was very uncomfortable for me at the first fight. But now I realize it was all okay, and it feels good, and I feel strong, and everything's gone to plan, and, just ready.
How hard was last year for you? Because, you're a single mom, 14-year-old son, balancing your career, which is, fighting for a living. And, there are lockdowns, the gyms are closed, schools are closed. You live in California. I know schools were closed as well. So were you homeschooling and also training? How did that work for you?
Yeah, homeschooling and training, it was a lot, especially when these kids have a ton of energy and they need to be around other kids. They need to be outside playing and like learning and socializing. And I think it's a hard time when the only like socialization they get is over video games, where kids aren't even nice to each other on there, so I was able to bring him to some strength and conditioning stuff with me, and like just help build him and keep him as like solid as I could, while also respecting what was going on outside and making sure that we like do it and keep everybody, including ourselves, safe. Yeah, it was a lot, but I will say to balance the days that it was like, oh my God, like we need to be out of each other's faces. There were days where we had such great conversations, like things that we might not have had if we were just always in the busy life, like get here, do this, do that. We were like stuck having to play cards, stuck having to talk to each other, stuck, laughing about the dogs and having things come up that like we really needed to talk about. We really needed to get to know about each other. And I felt like that was invaluable, so important. And both of us are homebodies, so it wasn't like a super huge struggle to like not get out of pajamas for days at a time, but it was, it had its ups and downs. But for the most part, I feel like, I don't know if it's wrong of me to say, but it felt like a good year, to be experiencing good things with my boy. And I feel like I got to catch up on sleep that I've needed for the last decade, like to not have alarm clocks for like 6 months and just wake up when you wake up. Like I needed that more than I probably needed anything in my whole life. That might go down as the number one thing I needed, was to just let my body rest and my brain rest. It was big.
By the way, is he training at all? You said strength and conditioning, but is he doing any jiu-jitsu, any wrestling?
Yeah, he started doing jiu-jitsu at Atos with me. He started doing jiu-jitsu when he was a kid. He did it all the way up until he was 7. And when his dad passed away, he didn't want to do it anymore. And so this year for him to want to jump in and do it again, it was like a big deal. And he loved it. Like he loved it. And he was having so much fun. He also, we had mitts, so we did some Muay Thai over the quarantine, and he was liking that too. But jiu-jitsu was just this thing, which that led him into wanting to do wrestling season this season. So they've been in wrestling practice for like 2 weeks now, and he has his first scrimmage today. It's tough on me because I don't get to go watch any of this. Like we can't, all I can do is hear about it. He has to come out and tell me how his day went. And it's like, it's wrestling. Like I want to watch you wrestle so bad. So it is what it is. And he's really proud of himself. And that's all that I care about is how he's feeling. So yeah, it's been good. He does
another Zingano. Do we have another Zingano MMA fighter on our hands in a few years? He's 14 now. Maybe in a few years MMA. What do you think?
Maybe. I don't know. I want him to do whatever he wants to do. He doesn't. He's very sweet. You know. I mean, I can be pretty sweet too, but then I can turn into a total killer. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what he wants. But I'll support whatever he wants to do. He's a really smart kid. So I'm not sure. MMA is the best for him, but if he wants to do it, he can do
it. So again, you do have a fight coming up April 9th for Bellator. Olivia Parker is the opponent. She's someone who's certainly not as well known as many of your previous opponents. What do you know about her, and what is kind of motivating you for this fight?
I know that she is really strong. I know she's big. That was one thing going up in weight classes is I was always the big one at 135, and now I went to 145, and I'm like the small one, or I'm the average one, and these girls come in really big. So I know she's rounded. You know, she's got equal stand-up as ground, and she pushes it, you know. So this is the third opponent that I've had for this fight. So I have trained so much in so many different ways, and I just feel like I'm ready for the expected. I'm ready for the unexpected. You know, really just focused on me and being better than I was my last fight and the fight before that and the fight before that. And so many things came together, and I'm looking forward to standing toe to toe with her. So it'll be a good one. I'm looking forward to it.
I think some people were surprised when they saw the booking, because I think many people thought that maybe you were next up for Chris Cyborg after your win last year in your Bellator debut. If you beat Olivia Parker, is that what's next? Cyborg versus Zingano?
I mean, that's what I'm asking for, and that's what I'm working for. And that's what I plan to put on a good show and, like, you know, really pull it together and do my best. So that is something that is considered undeniable. So we'll see, but that's the goal. That's the plan. That's been the goal for a long time.
It's funny because, Amanda Nunes just fought a few weeks ago at UFC 259, and, you know, she's fighting at 145. You're fighting at 145 right now. And, there's always that dialogue about Nunes now in the last couple of years, like, oh, well, she doesn't have a lot of opponents. She doesn't have, any kind of foes. And I know you're not in the UFC anymore, but, I mean, do you think about that at all? You're the last person to beat Nunes. Do you think about that, a possible rematch on the line at any point?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would make sense to have us fight again. You know, when I look at stuff and I see her fights now and I see who she's fighting, and I just, I obviously she's talented, but, I think she'd have to make another run at me again to really, really solidify what it is that she's done. I saw Miesha Tate's coming back. I see that Miesha Tate's fighting Marianne Renaud. That'll be a title contention thing. And it's weird because I've beaten all of those girls. Marianne's the only one of those that I didn't finish. So, it is interesting to be, in the mix of all of that's happening. And I would like to see where we're all at now. I would love to find a way to make that work someday. I don't know how, being that we're on different platforms now, which I feel like is a breath of fresh air for Amanda, but, we'll see. We'll see what communication can end up happening down the road or how it works. But I think it would be a great fight for the fans, and I think it'll be a great fight for us to see where we're really at, this many years later.
I'm glad you brought up Miesha, because I was going to ask you about that too. What are your thoughts about her coming back?
I mean, I get it. MMA it's a love-hate sport. Like, some days you just don't want to do this, but you get away from it for 10 minutes and you miss it. It's very deep in your soul to want to be an MMA fighter. And so for her to want to come back, I think is, I mean, it makes sense. I'm not surprised. About a year and a half ago, I had been asked to do a jiu-jitsu match against her and won. And so I knew that she has been having the itch to be competing again. It was, you know, so I'm not so surprised to hear that she comes back, you know, and she had her babies. She looks great. She got herself back in shape. And, you know, that always makes you question, if I could go fight right now, how would I do? And I'm sure that's where she's at. So, yeah, I think it's cool. I think that would be another fun one to run back again as well. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that all works out.
But Cyborg first, right? That's Cyborg's in your crosshairs before anything.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Awesome. Well, I will let you go, Cat. Thank you so much again for the time. Again, bold.org is the place to go to learn more about the Cat Zingano Overcoming Lost Scholarship. And I'm sure you'll also be putting out more information on your social media. So if there's anything else that you want to add, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it for now. It's got a lot going on.
Awesome. Kat, thanks again so much. Good luck on April 9th, and talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye, Marc.
Thanks a lot.